As always, we'll start with a look at global commodities. Let's take a look at oil markets. Brent was down by 0.41%, and this is on the back of OPEC and OPEC Plus saying they will start to roll out and ease out production cuts of about 2 million barrels from October. So the market's reacting in advance, and we saw the same impact and effect with WTI crude from North America down by 24 basis points. Natural gas still very resilient, but RBOB gasoline also down. Let's take a look at equity markets, starting with the Nigerian bourse. Well, the all share index ended the week slightly up at 0.09%, ending at 99,221.14 points, and a market cap at 56.12 trillion. The market cap is only just gradually creeping up on the NSE. Let's take a look at African stock exchanges around the continent with Joburg, which is in the eye, on the radar of investors this week because of what's happening in South Africa. I'll be talking about it a bit later. The Joburg Stock Exchange did rally at the end of trading, up by 0.35 percentage points. And of course, the Ghana Stock Exchange in Accra was flat. All the other stock exchanges that we're monitoring, Nairobi and Casablanca, ended the week down. Let's take a look at global equities, particularly Europe. All the major European indices were down. Now, the ECB held and cut its rate, actually, its key benchmark rate, citing concerns easing around inflation. Now, it has a target of 2%, but it says that before the end of the year, that may still rise. So markets not sure how to react, but all the major European indices were down at the end of trading on Friday. Let's take a look at my top business picks from around the world for this week. First, I'd like to start in South Africa. As I mentioned earlier, for the first time in its history, the ANC was unable to get a majority at the polls and will now have to form a unity government. Now, investors had mixed reactions to this in the initial aftermath of the announcement, but by the end of the week, the rand had rallied against the dollar. And this rally was also helped by the fact that South Africa's foreign reserves were up to 58 billion in May, up from 57 billion in April. So that did also help market sentiment, despite a bit of the uncertainty around this coalition government, the first type of situation that South Africa has experienced since apartheid ended. Of course, the ECB rate cut as well by 25 basis points. That should be a cut, not a hike, by the way. First time since 2019. So for 5 years, the ECB had not cut rates, but there's signs that inflation fears may now be easing. So we'll be watching that development in the coming weeks. Kenya also held its rate at 13% as its exchange rate is stabilizing. The Kenyan shilling has done really well to stabilize in recent weeks on the back of the country reaching out to external creditors, looking at getting more FX inflows into the country. Inflation in Kenya has also eased, both food inflation, energy inflation in Kenya. We'd like to find out what juice the Kenyans are drinking. It might help the rest of us around the continent, but good news there for Kenya. And of course, Afreximbank has disbursed another $925 million out of the NNPC crude oil crude oil loan exchange program. Now, it means that the total funded amount under that loan program, which was announced last year, is now about 3.125 billion. Of course, the total loan amount is 3.3 billion. The main off-takers that helped to fund that particular disbursement were, of course, companies like Oando Sahara and others. And finally, former BP CEO has called for an end to the issuance of new North Sea drilling oil licenses. Now, this view basically aligns with the Labour Party view in the UK. Labour giving the Conservatives, the Tory party in the UK, quite the competition ahead of UK elections. Now, he's saying that new North Sea drilling licenses should not be issued because that would align with the green transition plan. We'll see what the Conservatives say about that. That's it for my top picks from around the world this week.